price check. Best DFS plays in each price range for this week's AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. So now with Zalator's out, just 3 guys over $10,000. So Geoff, are you paying up for Cantlay or maybe doubling up with Berger and Spieth if you can fit them?
So I do think an interesting strategy this week is just to stuff Daniel Berger and Patrick Cantlay in your lineup and then just deal with the rest. This is a high variance event, as we've already alluded to on this show. And we see guys pop up here just sort of randomly from the 6K range and sometimes even win this event. So, I think some people will have that idea, but I still don't think like fitting Berger and Cantlay in will be that popular a move because people like to have balance. They don't like to have 2 guys like Steven Yager and like Kevin Chappell in their lineup. So I think that's actually in big fields, putting both Cantlay and Berger into your lineup. That's a fine play. As far as Spieth goes, I won't be shocked if he pops up here with a solid event, but he has really just not looked that good in his first 2 starts. And he's also dealing with a sickness from last week. So I'm not really all that interested in Spieth. I get that there's probably some sort of game theory here where a lot of the field might be getting off him, but I am more interested in paying up for both Cantlay and Berger. I think when you combine the 2, that's where you'll get your unique lineups instead of just paying for one and then trying to go balance with the rest.
Len, what's your approach here?
Wow, that's very interesting from Geoff. I think there's a lot of merit to that. I was surprised to hear that. It wasn't something I considered, but I could see doing that. I mean, I like both those guys, Cantlay and Berger. Berger had a little bit of an injury last week, but he seems to be okay. And as Geoff said, Spieth has not been on his game ever since becoming a father. Not that that's connected, but that was just in December. And I don't know. We have to watch that. His home life is different. And he did have a bit of an illness last week. But Patrick Cantlay, he's a very favorable price, 11-2. That's not very high for the top guy on the board. And he's already had 2 top 10s in 2022. He finished last year in the playoffs with 2 wins. Yes, there was an asterisk for the Tour Championship, but he is almost becoming Jon Rahm-like in his week after week. He spoke recently about how when he goes to a tournament, he doesn't go to work on his game. He goes to win every time he enters a tournament. And if you look at his face on the course, I think you'd agree with that. I think I like Patrick Cantlay a lot this week.
All right, let's go favorite play between 9K and 10K. I count them up here. There are 9 golfers to choose from, Len.
Yeah, there are a bunch of guys here, and they're all course horses, and Jason Day at 99, and Maverick McNeely at 98, and Kevin Streelman, 43-year-old Kevin Streelman at 91. They all play well here year after year. McNeely just a couple of years. He's a young guy. I think Jason Day's performance last week will make a lot of people jump on him. I think a lot of people will jump on Maverick McNeely, and maybe rightfully so. But I'm kind of going back and forth on all 3 of these guys, and Kevin Streelman is a lot cheaper at 91. He would be my play.
All right, Geoff, who do you like here, dude? A pair of top 5s in his last 2 appearances here. It's hard to ignore Maverick Mac.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mav talks to you just like he talks to Goose when he's on the West Coast. It's a dude who obviously loves this kind of setting. It's just, I just can't do it. I can't click Maverick McNeely for $9,800. I'm just not there yet with him. I don't think he's quite consistent enough as a young player yet either to warrant this. So I think he's a fade. I think where the field is going to land on this range is a lot of Justin Rose, some Cameron Chingali, and then some people getting on Fitzpatrick and Streelman. I'm glad Jason Day is 9,900 because I think that will keep people off him. And I'm going to ride with him here. I've just seen him come to this event too many times, not good form, missing the cut, injured, and he still posts top 8 finishes. There is something about Jason Day in this event. I think it's because the rounds are longer and no one's on him to play fast because he's playing with amateurs. That's my deep dive, deep state analysis on Jason Day and Pebble Beach. He's also a very good putter, but I will ride with him in DFS because I think his ownership will be lower than people realize here. Look, he looked fantastic. When was the last time we heard pain-free in Jason Day? Probably 3 years ago. So I'm going to ride here. This is a very top-end player. If he's healthy, he's going to make some waves this year. And look, he is well overdue for a win at this event. Ridiculous course history. So,
all right, poking down just a little bit here. Favorite play between 8K and 9K, Geoff?
Yeah, I'm going to ride with the player I just I'm enamored with. It's Christian Bezuidenhout at 8,700. This dude's made 29 of his last 30 cuts worldwide. Like, for DFS, does it get much better than that? I mean, this guy just produces. And it's not like he's finishing T70 every week, too. You know, top 20, top 30 finishes. He'll get there eventually. This guy's a high-end putter. He's got a great short game, which is going to help him around these small greens at Pebble Beach. I think Bezuidenhout is a fantastic roster, too, in this weaker field where, you know, this is the kind of event where you'll probably see him pop up with a win one day because there's not that top-end talent. He won't have the sort of scary nature of overcoming like a John Rahm on a Sunday. So I think you pay up for Bezuidenhout here. Again, a player I don't think will be that popular because he doesn't have a huge course history. But, man, he is a very, very solid roster there at 8,700 in this field.
Yeah, isn't this his first start here?
It is. First time playing Pebble Beach. So a little bit scary, but again, I think that'll just keep the ownership low in big fields.
Cool. Like it. I like your strategy.
All right, Len, what's your favorite play between 8K and 9K?
You know, last year, Tom Hoge finished 12th here after years of not playing well. And we couldn't have seen it at the time. There was nothing other than that to let us know. But it seems like he's been a different player since then in the past year. And certainly in the last 6 months, he was 4th at the Northern Trust loaded playoff field. He had another top 5 in the fall series. And then he was runner-up a couple of weeks back. 3 of the best finishes of his career at age 32. It's certainly, these are not isolated things. These are coming with greater frequency. And it seems that at age 32, Tom Hoge is finding a new gear in his career. It doesn't happen very often, but it can happen, and it does happen. And so I like to look for him. He's $8,500. There's not too many guys I like in the $8,000 range like I did in the 9s. I look for Tom Hoge to keep it going.
All right, well, let's narrow down the range a little bit. Some past winners here in this one between $7,500 and $8,000. Geoff, I know you've mentioned Michael Thompson multiple times on this show throughout the week. Is that who you're going with?
Yeah, I mean, I think realistically, there's a couple guys you can target here. And if you are loading up on top players, like I think this is a very good range to target. We've got some consistent veterans here that we like. And Thompson is probably my favorite just because of all of them in this range, he's really shown the best upside over the last probably 2 months. It's a guy who, gained like 5 strokes on approach at the Sony, finished T5 there. And he played well at Torrey Pines last week, which I think is a really good indicator, not just because we got Poagana greens, but I mean, Michael Thompson is not a big hitter. When he's finishing like top 15 at long courses, there's something sharp going on with his game. Finished T10 at Pebble Beach 2 years ago. This is just a player who's excelled on the West Coast too, which I just feel like everything kind of aligns for Michael Thompson to do well at this event. And at 7,900 with him playing well, I can't really get off him here. But realistically, Chris Kirk, Matt Kuchar, like Russell Knox has a great history here. This is a really juicy range for people who just, again, want to stuff in multiple high-end players and then kind of round their lineups out.
Len, where are you going between $7,500 and $8,000?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Matt Kuchar, like Geoff just mentioned. He's already made 5 cuts in 5 starts this season. He's far from where he used to be. He'll probably never be a top 25 player again. He's well over 100th in the world. But, one thing that's really interesting to me in researching him, his short game is still really spot on. He is top 5 in strokes gained around the green this season. He's 25th or there whereabouts in putting. And when you get into your 40s, you think the putter might be one of the first things to go. So it's telling me that Matt Kuchar is struggling on the longer courses and still can, deliver around the green and stuff. And that's going to be paramount this week. Scrambling, very important this week. I look for him, 7,600.
All right, Len, who are like a few guys that may put up some points who are under 7,500?
Yeah, there's one guy I like at 7,000, Joseph Bramlett, and he's a very long hitter and a terrible putter, and that seems to be the prototypical guy to stay away from this week. But he's made 3 cuts this season, his last 3 cuts. He's made his last 2 at Pebble Beach. Interesting thing, I think one of the stats to look at this week is approach shots from 125 to 150. Very short. For some reason, somehow, Bramlett is ranked 33rd on tour there. And also Mark Hubbard. He's one of the absolute shortest hitters on tour. He's only 280 something, 281 off the tee. I think that just kills him most weeks. But he is ranked 7th in scrambling a big part of this week with the small greens. Mark Hubbard, 6,700.
Real quick, Geoff, what do you think?
Yeah, I like Matthew Neesmith quite a bit at 7,300 for play in DFS. I just like him as a player. He's got very good iron play that can really pick up, really carry him. He's improved his short game too, which is a good help. And he's got a good record at Pebble Beach. He's played here a few times. But look, a lot of veterans under 7K. I got to mention Kevin Chappell. He comes alive here on the West Coast. You could even play a guy like Jimmy Walker this week, honestly. This is the type of event where you're going to see players like that pop up under 7K.
We asked Geoff this yesterday, so unless he has changed his mind, Len, this one's for you. Who's winning the tournament?
Yeah, and I can see how you could go. Geoff could change his mind. Change his mind if he does. If he doesn't, but I've gone back and forth. I've tried very hard to not pick Patrick Cantlay this week, but he's just too good. He's the class of the field. He, as I said earlier, he brings it every time he gets on the course. He's at a decent price at 11-2, very fair for a top guy on the board. I look for Patrick Cantlay, and he starts on Monterey Peninsula, so he could get off to a great start on Thursday.